recording the session right now. It's recording. So, guys, well, let's do this. So, first, guys, I'd like you to go to the book that we were using yesterday, Navigate, the book that we were using for the English lessons. You know, the book I shared with you yesterday. So I'm gonna start sharing my screen because, as you may remember, we were working on the book, and this here it is. So these are the last questions we covered yesterday. So as you may remember, basically the topic that we were discussing was machines, right? That's one of the topics that we have for this week, the week number 8. So in the previous lesson, we just had a look at at certain vocabulary we have here. We read this little article, and we completed the article using this vocabulary that we studied before. We also did is a short listening exercise that helped us complete the text, and we discussed these questions, and that's where we are. Okay, so now we are here, and this is the page number. Let me see. This is the page. Oh my God, where is the page? Well, this is the page number 57 in the book. Okay, so are we here, guys? All of us? Hello.
Yes,
Wait,
teacher.
teacher, please.
Yep, it's a page number. If you can look for page 57 in the file or 58 in the PDF. I don't know if you guys had the chance to download this application, the software, Foxit, so you can edit the PDF. You see, like here are the texts that I entered yesterday. As you can see, it's here. So if you use this application, Foxit, it will allow you to edit the PDF and save the changes as well. So that's why I suggested you guys use that one. Okay. So guys, if you are here, the very first thing we're gonna do is to read this comments. Again, we have 3 different comments, and basically we need to identify if they are for or against driverless cars. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. And also, of course, you're gonna have to check out the certain vocabulary and everything. That's essentially what we are going to do. So for that, we're gonna make small groups. Okay, we're gonna make small groups, and that's the first thing we're gonna do. You're gonna take perhaps less than 5 minutes for that, and that's the only thing I'd like you to do. Okay, well, you guys are gonna read this comments here in the exercise number 4, and you have to decide if they are for or against driverless cars. Okay, do you have any question about that, guys? No, super clear.
No, teacher.
Okay, guys, so let's go to the rooms. Let's do exercise number 4, and we'll be back here.
Good morning, teacher.
Okay, so welcome back. So guys, let's see what were the answers you guys have. So let me just share the, here it is. Okay guys, so we have this three different comments. So I will choose people just randomly, just to see what were your answers. So in the case of the first one, this one here, I would like perhaps Johannet Martinez to help us with this one. A, is it for or against driverless cars?
Day 4.
It's for, right? Okay,
Es,
and it's for. And what's the reason? I mean, what's let's say the argument they give?
because in her in oh my god, in the experience of the people, of the person, sorry, he said that he or she hated to commute to the work, and the person says that it's better that the car itself for driving itself. So that is the argument, I guess.
Okay, and also basically, as you can see here, because it would give them extra time. So see, that's important. And it has, I don't know if it has happened to you guys. I've seen some really crazy cases about like related to something like this. I remember at least 2 or 3 times when I was um, going to my office. I was on my motorcycle, and I would see, and this is for real, people in a motorcycle reading. You know, so it's like say that there is a man riding, and I remember there was a girl in the back of the motorcycle, and she was reading, and she was like studying for an exam or something. You know, so it's like, wow, she was on a motorcycle, like at this time in the morning, and she was studying. So somehow,
Teacher,
yeah,
the passenger.
yeah, the passenger, of course, the
Teacher,
passenger.
maybe I am. Maybe
You,
that girl I am.
maybe you were that girl. There you go.
Yes,
So
teacher.
you see. I
Maybe.
mean, that happens. That happens.
Yes.
And my point here is that sometimes people, it's like we try to use time as much as we can in certain cases. So sometimes driving, just it's a way of spending not time, of wasting time basically. So there you go. So Johanna, she likes to study when she's in a motorcycle. So if she had a chance to be in a driverless car, well, that would solve the problem. There you go. You see, so my story is not fake. Thank you for that. So let's continue with the next one, the comment B, and this time I like Dylan Pies to help us with the comment B. Come on, Dylan, are you there?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, B, please.
Lucy Loop?
Yeah,
Yes.
so is this against or for?
Okay, teacher. People were worried about a seat belt too at one time. My cousin, who has actually been in one of these cars, said he felt perfectly safe and so well and so well.
Aye, and so would I. Okay.
I
And the
okay.
question is this against or for driverless cars? So as you can see here, what we had to do is determine if these questions were for or against driverless cars, you see? So now that you have read it, it's like, is it against or for? No idea? Still thinking of it? Okay, so let's say if somebody else can help us with that. Yes, somebody wants to help us with that? Ana Maria?
Teacher, I think that is an opinion, and I think that is against. I don't know
Against.
because because in I don't know. He said that he is causing, but the opinion is for the other people. No.
Oh, but look, you know, okay, well, that's an interesting appreciation. Thank you. But she says, or here she says this, my cousin, who has actually been in one of these cars, said he felt perfectly safe. So this person says, my cousin, who's used these cars, he felt absolutely okay. He felt safe, and so would I. You say, and so would I.
So in this case, is for.
In this case, is for, yeah. Because this person is saying, basically what this person says is like, I have never used one of these cars, but I know a person who has. That person felt safe, so I also. So I would feel safe as well. So it's for, and basically the reason it's for is because this person feels that he or she would feel safe there. Okay, and the last comment say. I would like, let me see who's gonna help us with that. Felipe, would you please help us with say?
Yes, teacher. Well,
Thank you.
in that case, they are talking about people who has maybe something related to disability. So I
Mhm.
think that they are for it because of that reason. So they said that that will be better for people who are blind or something like that, or has like
Yep.
a disability. So that will be perfect for those. I was talking about with someone yesterday about it. That will be perfect to have those kind of cars for that kind of people.
Absolutely. So yes, Felipe, absolutely true. Um, this is for all again, and this is for because of that reason, because of physical disability that would help those people, you know, have the chance to go places without a problem. So guys, these exercises you can say it's actually an introduction to the grammar topic of this lesson in this book. And as is, if you check here, we see that the grammar topic is use defining and non-defining relative clauses. So that's the grammar topic. So there are lots of different words that we need to be very careful with. So first of all, here, for instance, what is a clause, right? What is a clause? And what is a relative clause? And what is a defining clause? And what is a non-defining relative clause? You see, so in this moment, we're gonna see just how it works in general terms, and I will show you how it works. But I don't know if we have time today, but I hope I've also prepared a full explanation on something we call language conventions. So we're gonna get very grammatical in that explanation, but that's gonna be super important, and even more for this term in which we plan to learn to write a paragraph very well. So that's an explanation we'll see. We'll see what are clauses, what are phrases, what are sentences, fragments. That's something that I believe we're gonna be doing tomorrow, after we finish this lesson, and also we finished with the exercises that we were working on in terms of writing. So we need to focus a lot here. So as you can see here, this exercise is the introduction to that, and there are some sentences here that we see are highlighted, you see. So for example, let me see. So for example, here in the first one, having a car that drives itself. So there is a connection with this that. This one is more obvious, as you can see here. For example, my cousin who has actually been in one of these cars, my own physical disability, which, so that's what these clauses refer to, how we connect to clauses. We connect two different clauses using this prepositions like which, who, that, blah, blah, blah. So we see here in this grammar focus, we see the examples. So so as we see here, we have we know that we use defining relative clauses to identify who or what we are talking about. You see, so it says here that we use who or that for people. So what does it mean? So for example, the person that I told you about. You see, the person that I told you about. So that's for people. Or the guy who helped me. You see, the guy who helped me. So that's the example here. In the case of things, we also use that or which. So for example, the book that we read, the book that we read, or the book which we read, you see, for things. And whose for possessions, you see. So we can use whose for questions about possessions and also as a connection. So for instance, if I say whose is this? Whose is this? You see, so that means like the quién es, right? So those are for possessions. So well, what we're gonna do here, guys, what we're gonna do here is to see the different examples. So you guys are going to read this grammar focusing groups again, and then you will match this examples here, the ones that have numbers. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're gonna match these different clauses with these different examples. Okay, that is what you guys are going to do. Is it clear what we have to do, guys?
Yes, teacher.
Yeah, so you guys will do the exercise, and then when we come back from the breakout rooms, we're gonna review the exercise, and I will make sure that you understand what this, you know, defining, non-defining relative clauses are. This is actually, I believe this is not a hard topic, but the thing is that we need to go deeper into it, and that's why I prepared this explanation that I told you. So thank you, Johannet, for the message that you sent. So we need to study this in detail, but right now we are just landing, let's say. So that's why we just need to have a look at this, but later I will give you an extended explanation on that, okay? So we're gonna go to the breakout rooms again, and just let's do the exercise 5A. And remember, for 5A, what you gotta do is to match this fragments, no, but this clauses, the ones that have numbers here in the exercise 4, with these examples here in the exercise 5A. If you have doubts, as you can see here, guys, I really like this book because, as you can see, it also includes a grammar reference at the end. So for example, in this case, once we study every grammar focus, it tells you the page in which the grammar reference is. So for example, in this case, should be the page 147. So here it's the reference. So it's like you see more examples, better explanations, you see? So every time we study a grammar topic, we can have this as a review, let's say, okay? So this is very interesting. So every time we study a grammar topic during the normal lessons, and perhaps if you guys have questions, don't know exactly what that is, you can go to the grammar reference and you will see like more exercises that you can do at home, right? So this is a very interesting tool we've got here. Okay, guys. So let's do this exercise, the grammar focus, and then we'll be back here in the main session. So let's do this. Okay, guys, welcome back. So let's see the answers to that exercise. Once again, guys, do not forget that we are going to have a more detailed explanation in this week, I think tomorrow, so you guys understand better what this topic of clauses, sentences, phrases is. Okay, but so far we had to do this exercise. So remember that in this exercise, what you guys were supposed to do, as you can see here, is to match the examples 1 to 6 here, these examples from the comments, with cases here in the exercise 5A. So we had to match this with this. That's what we had to do. So guys, let's see your answers. Give me 1 second. Okay, guys. So the first case was the case in which we use who or that to refer to people. So A goes with which one? A goes with
number 6, teacher.
A goes with number 6. Let me see. It would also be great for people whose. No, because in this case they are using whose. They are not using.
With 4.
Number 4. My cousin who has actually been in one of these cars. So let me see here the other options. Let me see.
I think it could be 2.
Yes, well, yeah, but the thing is that there is a little thing we need to see. So as Sophia says, the right answer here is number 2, actually. So for the first case, A is number 2, and we'll see in a moment why it's not 4. Okay, later we'll see why it's not 4. So here in the first one, A goes with 2. Okay, A goes with 2 so far. So let me just put it here. Oh, well, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? A goes with 2. Very good. Then we have the number 2, which is which or that for things. So B goes with
5.
1. That's not 1.
yes. That's the right answer. It's 1. It's 1. You see, so in this case, it's super clear. Having a car that drives itself. So that's a thing. Then we have 3, which is whose for possessions. So number 3 goes with
4.
Oh my God.
5.
Number 3 goes with, I'm sorry. C. I'm sorry. C goes with
Number 3.
C goes with 6. That's true. Look, because look here, they are using whose. It would also be great for people whose eyesight has got worse with age. So this is 6. Now that we will cover the other kinds of clauses, we'll see what's the difference. Here in D, we can leave out the relative pronoun if it's the object of the verb. So D goes with, guys, D goes with
3.
the number 3. That is true. So
Number 3, teacher.
Yes, number 3. So D goes with 3. So in a moment, we'll have a look at all the cases just to understand what the differences are. Then E, guys, here, E goes with, with 4. That's right.
Number 4.
And last but not least, 5 goes with, F goes with 5. Right, so we'll see what the differences are. So in the case of the number 4, for example, 4 and 5 are non-defining relative clauses. You see, so what's the difference between a non-defining and a relative clause? You see, because that's the difference. So for example, here in the number 4, it says, my cousin who has actually been in one of these cars. You see, so 4 and number 2 they look similar because both of them use who. Anyone else who has to drive a lot. You see, so what is the difference? The difference is that in the number 4, what we are doing here is to give extra information. You see, we give extra information, and when we give extra information, it means that extra information somehow is optional. So we know that this is a non-defining, because if we eliminate this extra information, which is after the who, the sentence still would make sense. You see, so you say, my cousin said he felt perfectly safe. You see, it makes sense. So we have no problem. So when the information which is after the who or the that is optional because it's just extra information, we know that it's non-defining. But in this case, this is non-defining. Look, anyone else who has to drive a lot, if we eliminate this, has to drive a lot, the sentence makes no sense. Look, anyone else but doesn't enjoy it. You see, it makes no sense. So that is the difference, guys. And we have the explanation here. Whenever we use a defining relative clause, it's because we need to identify who or what we are talking about. So in those cases, we identify the person or the thing that we are talking about. But in the second case, non-defining, it means that we are just giving extra information. You see, so for example, number 5 and number 1, both of them they look similar, but they are different. So for example, number 1, having a car that drives itself would be wonderful for me. And number 5, my own physical disability, which I have since birth, or that I have had since birth. It could be both. They are different because in the number 5, we are giving extra information. And if we eliminate the extra information, the sentence still makes sense. Look, my own physical disability, which I have since birth, means that I will never be able to drive a real car. If we eliminate the extra information in the clause, would be my own physical disability means that I will never be able to drive a real car. You see? So that it makes sense. We can still understand. But if we do that here in the number 1, if we eliminate the information which is after, it makes absolutely no sense. Having a car would be wonderful for me. So it's like, or having a car, anyone else who has to drive a lot. You see, it's like, wow, it simply makes no sense. So guys, do you understand the difference between defining and non-defining clauses?
No, teacher.
Not really?
No, teacher.
Okay, the thing is that I will not explain that today because that would be a little bit too much. I mean, the whole thing with the different clauses. But the thing is that in general terms, clauses are parts of sentences, you see? So they are basically parts of sentences. So for example, this is a very good example, the number 5. So the whole thing here, we have 2 different clauses. My own physical disability, then we have punctuation mark, which is a comma, and then which I have since birth. You see, so it's like we have 2 different clauses and they connect and they make a sentence. Okay, so sentences can be made out of clauses, or I mean, they are made out of clauses, you see, and the point here is how we connect different clauses, how we connect the text itself, you see. So, so for example, in this case, we have a clause which is my own physical disability, you see, so that's a clause. Then we have another one, which I have since birth, and then we have another one, means that I will never be able to drive a real car. So that's what the punctuation marks means. Like we have 3 different parts, let's say, and we connect them using punctuation marks or using prepositions like which and so on, you see? So that's how we do it. And the way they relate, it's different. So for example, in the case of defining clauses, as I said, defining clauses are clauses that we use to identify who we are talking about. So we have these examples here. So for example, number 2 or number 1, having a car that drives itself. You see, so that information is not optional when it's a defining clause. It's not optional. It's necessary, you see, so we cannot eliminate anything. But in the case of the non-defining clauses, that is optional, like in the cases 4 and 5 here. You see, we can make changes, like my cousin, who has actually been in one of these cars. If we eliminate this part, the sentence still makes sense. You see? So guys, I suggest you have a look at the grammar reference, and tomorrow I have the explanation here ready, as you can see, language conventions. So these are all, I mean, we have all the topics we need to check here to understand the difference between clauses, phrases, sentences, fragments. But if I do it right now, you guys will not understand pretty much it because it's a lot of information. So I would love to dedicate a full lesson just to that, and that's gonna be tomorrow. Okay, guys. So I like to know if you more or less understand what that is.
I've got a question.
Yes, Felipe?
In the case that you put, for example, who has or who have, in that case, it depends of the word that you put after those words. For example, who have, I always try to, or tend to confuse with that, because I always put who has, but I have to put who have, and the other way around. So it depends of the word that you put after that, right?
Yes, of course. That's what we call the subject-verb agreement. So you need to see who you are talking to. If it's a singular or if it's a plural, so you conjugate it just like that. You see, that's basically it. Because, for instance, in this case, my cousin, we know it's a 3rd person singular. So in this case, it has to be has.
In the case that I say people, I have to
it's
say
it's a plural form. There you go. So the people who have been working in this company, so there has to be have. So you have to see who you're talking to, and then conjugate the verb based on that. To see, that's how it works. Yeah, absolutely, yes. Okay, guys. So let me see. So yeah, it might be still a little bit confusing. So what I suggest is just to have a look at the grammar reference, and tomorrow is and I'll show you right now, because perhaps you might say that I'm not ready or something, but I am. Look, I've got the explanation here. I've got this explanation on that specific topic, in which I explain what the different language conventions are and everything. But this is something we need to pay attention to very carefully, and actually dedicate the lesson just to understand that, because it's lots of different of different concepts, and I don't want to overwhelm you in this very moment. So yes, guys, that's more or less how it goes. So guys, now we're gonna go over this little question exercise here, which is the 5B, I'm sorry. And it says, look at the sentence. Think of all the extra time that I could use to check my emails or read a book. What does that refer to? And why can it be left out? So you can answer this question with the explanation that I just gave you. You see? So look at the sentence. Think of all the extra time that I could use to check my emails or read a book. What does that refer to? What does that refer to in this particular question? Where is it? Let's try to have a look at it, try to understand what that is.
People?
Look, think of all the extra time that I could, so that in this sentence.
It's referring to the time. But
Exactly. It refers to time, you see? So think of all the extra time that I could use to check my emails or read a book. So that is time here. Think of all the extra time that. So that refers to time here. And the question is, why can it be left out? So that is also optional here. We don't need to necessarily use it. You say, so we don't necessarily need to use it. And the reason why we can eliminate it, one of the actual reasons is that in English, every time a word is optional, we should just leave it out. It's like we don't need to use it. So if we say, think of all the extra time I could use to check my emails or read a book, that's absolutely okay. We can just leave it, we can just leave it like that. And it absolutely works. So that's essentially, the reason why we can leave it out. Well, yeah, that's essentially how it works. Okay, guys, so we're gonna go over the exercise 6.2, and basically what you have to do is to listen very carefully to the audio that I will be playing, and you have to complete this text with the audio that we're gonna use in this moment. Okay, so it's just to listen very carefully, and we are going to complete this audio. So let me just look for the audio, which is the number 6.2.
Audio 6.2.
Can you guys listen?
Yes,
Yes,
teacher.
teacher.
Great. So I'm gonna play it, and give me a second. We are going to answer that exercise 6.2.
Lives. Audio 6.2. Intelligent machines that can serve us in supermarkets, give us directions, and even drive for us are becoming part of all our lives. Some of the things machines can do now would have seemed impossible just a few years ago. And there's more to come. Amazon promises robot drones which will deliver our packages, and Rolls-Royce says robo-ships which won't need any crew will soon be sailing our seas. But what will this mean for our workers? Some think that only people whose skills are better than the machine's abilities will have work. Those who don't have high-level skills risk being unemployable or will have to work for very low wages.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna play it a second time, and then we'll check the answers.
Audio 6.2. Intelligent machines that can serve us in supermarkets, give us directions, and even drive for us are becoming part of all our lives. Some of the things machines can do now would have seemed impossible just a few years ago. And there's more to come. Amazon promises robot drones which will deliver our packages, and Rolls-Royce says robo-ships which won't need any crew, will soon be sailing our seas. But what will this mean for our workers? Some think that only people whose skills are better than the machine's abilities will have work. Those who don't have high-level skills risk being unemployable or will have to work for very low wages.
Okay, guys, so I suppose you have answered the exercise. And well, there are some specific like options based on the audio, but we'll see that there might be other possibilities as well. So we'll try to answer based on the audio itself, but we will also see if there are more options. So what I'm going to do now is like I'm going to play the audio again, but this time I will make pauses so we answer each one of the questions. I mean, like each one of the spaces, we complete them.
Audio 6.2.
Intelligent machines that can serve us in supermarkets.
Okay, so what's the answer there?
That.
That, yes. So it's intelligent machines that can serve us in supermarkets. Is there any other option, guys? If we wanted to use a different option here?
Maybe which?
Yeah, there you go. So we can use that or which as we are talking about things, right? So both options are correct. Although, of course, originally here it's that, but if you use which, it's also possible.
Give us directions and even drive for us are becoming part of all our lives. Some of the things machines can do now would have seemed impossible just a few years ago.
Okay, number 2.
None.
No.
Nothing. Nothing. But do we have options? Do we have other options?
That.
It could be that. Some of the
That.
things that machines can do, yes, that's another option. And we have another option, right?
I think that is whose?
No, because it's not a person.
Which.
That would be which again. So we
Which.
have 3 options, exactly. We have 3 options, nothing, like none. We have that or we have which. Some of the things that machines can do or some of the things machines can do, you see? So we have to always see, I mean, the best option is this with nothing, like some of the things machines can do would be the best option. So every time we see that perhaps that pronoun or that preposition is optional, we can just leave it out. Let's continue.
And there's more to come. Amazon promises robot drones which will deliver our packages.
So number 3, guys.
Which?
Which.
Which, robot drones which will deliver our packages. And the other option we have would be
That.
That.
There you go. There you go. Let's continue.
And Rolls-Royce says robo-ships, which won't need any crew, will soon be sailing our seas.
And number 4,
Which.
which. And Rolls-Royce says robot ships which don't need any crew, So guys, number 4, we say that we can use which, but can we use that in that case as we are talking about things? What do you think? What do you think? Because in the other ones, we've said that we can use both, like which or that. But in this case, I don't know if we could also use that. What do you think?
I think we can omit that.
Well, in this case, guys, and I actually forgot to put the answers here. I'm so sorry. So in this case, number 4, we can only use which, and if you go to the grammar focus here, in the grammar focus, it says that we use which for things when it's non-defining relative clauses, if it's extra information. So when we are giving extra information, we always use which, we don't use that, okay? And the same thing happens with people. So this is extra information. Look, Rolls-Royce says robot chips, which don't need any crew. That part, which won't need any crew, we can eliminate that part, and the sentence would still have sense if we say, and Rolls-Royce says robot chips will soon be sailing our seas. You see, it makes sense. So as this is extra information, in those cases, we always use which. We never use that, you see? So this is why this grammar focus is super important. Who or that or which or that are used to identify the person or the thing that we are talking about. And that's what we call defining relative clause, when we identify the person or the thing we are talking about. When we are not identifying, but just giving extra information about one thing or one person or a group of people or a group of things, that's what we call non-defining relative clauses. And in that case, we only use who or which. We never use that, you see? So that's super important to keep in mind. Let's continue.
But what will this mean for our workers? Some think that only people whose skills are better than the machine's abilities will have work.
Okay, number 5. Who?
Whose?
Whose? Yes,
Who?
that's whose. And I'm so sorry I forgot to include the answers here. So in this case, yeah, it's whose. Let me just put them really quick. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna just put the answers really quick. So we have them as well. So that's also that here. Can be that. Number 3 could be which, and both of them. Those are some of the possibilities. Remember, we have more. And number 6, let's see what the answers were.
Those who don't have high-level skills risk being unemployable.
Those.
Who?
Yeah, in that case is who. Those who don't have high skills levels risk. So, okay, so in that case, it could be who, and could somehow also be that, those that don't have high levels, although the best option, of course, is who in this case. Okay, guys, so this short article has very good examples of what we call defining and non-defining, you see? So I just gave you one example like just a couple of minutes ago. So we need to do that. We need to try to have a look at that. So guys, I'm gonna give you around 3 to 4 minutes more or less, and I'd like you to do this individually. I'd like to read this text again in the exercise 6A to have a look at it again and identify at least a couple of examples of defining relative clauses and non-defining, okay? So let's try to spot at least 2 defining and 2 non-defining, okay? I would like you to do that individually, and then we'll have a look at it together, okay? So I'd like you to take around 3 minutes more or less just to say, these are examples of defining, these are examples of non-defining. Do not forget, once again, that defining clauses are those clauses that we then use to identify who or what we are talking about. And non-defining are clauses that we use to give extra information. That's the key difference, okay? So guys, let's take about 3 to 4 minutes to find a couple of examples, and then we're gonna socialize them. Can do this individually. Okay, guys. So let's try to see if you found some examples of the classes here. Let's see what you guys have. Oh, give me a second. I'm sorry. Need to check something here. Wow. Okay, guys. So give me some of the examples that you found. So for example, in the case of defining, which remember that defining are those examples in which we are providing like the information about who or what we are talking about. So what are some of the examples that you could perhaps found? Hello, defining clauses. Nothing? You found nothing, guys?
For example, I don't know, teacher. Maybe I called my mom who lives in Manizales. Well, I invented.
Oh, no, but I mean examples from the text here.
Okay.
Yes, so we are having a look at the first case, which is defining, which are those cases in which we use the clauses to identify who or what we are talking about. That's where we are in this moment.
I think that defining could be 1 and 3.
1 and 3 are examples, yes. So for example, intelligent machines that can serve us in supermarkets, give us directions, and even drive for us are becoming part of our lives. So yes, that's an example of a defining clause, you see? Because we are using this to identify or to provide information about intelligent machines, you see? Intelligent machines that can serve us in supermarkets. So we are talking about a specific intelligent machines, and that's why this is not just additional information, but that's part of the thing that we are talking about. So yes, 1 is an example. You said also 3, so it says Amazon promises robot drones which will deliver our packages. That's another good example, because this is not optional information. No, this is part of what we are talking about. So every time if you have doubts, if you don't know if it's defining or not defining, you have to see if the information which is after the that or after the which or after the whose is optional. And in this case, we can see that this is not optional because it's part of what we are talking about. So 3 is an example. 2 is also an example of that. So some of the things that machines can do, now would have seemed impossible just a few years ago, you see? So this is not optional, guys. Some of the things that machines can do, we are talking about the things that machines can do. So that's also a defining clause. So 1, 2, 3, also 5, for example, something that only people whose skills are better than the machine's abilities will have work. You see, so that's also part of the information that's not optional. And number 6, those who don't have high-level skills risk being unemployable. That's also part of that. So actually, the only non-relative clause that we have is number 4. This is the only which is non-defining, you see, because this is optional. Look, Rolls-Royce says roboships, which don't need any crew, will soon be sailing our seas. So this whole segment here is optional. So remember, guys, once again, in the case of non-defining relative clauses, the information is optional because it's additional. You see, so if we say just Rolls-Royce says roboships will soon be sailing our seas, that perfectly makes sense. You see, guys, so it's a matter of having a look at the examples, and perhaps that can help us a little bit better. Okay, so that's how it works. So guys, we're gonna basically conclude this part with a speaking exercise. So I would like to, we will see in a moment if we can work. I think we're gonna work in small groups, perhaps groups of 3 people more or less. Yes, I think we're gonna work in groups of 3 people, and I would like you to work on the exercise 7A. So you guys are going to make 2 lists, one of arguments for and one of arguments against intelligent machines in general terms. So as you may remember, in the first term, we talked about artificial intelligence, right? And we talk about that and how that, with the 4th industrial revolution, how that has an effect on employability and everything. So there is a little connection about that. So that's essentially what I'd like you guys to do, just to make these 2 lists, one of arguments for and one arguments against intelligent machines. That's the very first part. Then, once you guys have done that, we are going to mix the groups and you guys are going to take roles. So it's like we're gonna have a little debate, let's say, in a moment. But first, I would just like you to make the list of arguments. One list of arguments for and one against. I believe that you should have at least 5 arguments in each list, and that's it. So do you guys understand what we're gonna do now?
Yes, teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent, guys. So I just created the groups right now, and I will invite you there. So let's work on the exercise 7A. We're gonna take around 10 minutes for that, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna do the last exercise of this lesson. So let's do this, guys.
The IA
Yes.
can help us with problems mathematics. Yes.
Sorry. In that case, it would be the AI.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I have problems with this
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Yes, and as
Yes.
this is, I may agree. Yes, is correct or not?
Well, that is true. I mean, that is true. Yes, the artificial intelligence can help you solve mathematical problems. That is absolutely true. Yes. And actually, for instance, you know that the Google Mini devices, the Google Home devices, and everything, if you ask them directly questions, it can answer questions like mathematical problems, for instance. Yeah.
Okay, teacher. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, guys, welcome back. So I suppose that by now you guys had the chance to discuss with your groups certain arguments against and for artificial intelligence or intelligent machines in general terms, right? That's what you guys were supposed to do. So you got a series of arguments for and against. So what we're gonna do now, guys, is that I will, as I said, the point now, let me just, what we're gonna do now is to have like a little discussion in groups again. But this time, each one of the groups is going to take part. So in this moment, you guys just have arguments against and for, but I will assign you to these new groups, and you guys will have to have like a posture on this. So I will explain exactly what that means. But before, I need to share this. Can you see my screen, guys?
Yes, teacher.
Okay,
Yes,
so
teacher.
question is, what are odd numbers? What are even numbers? What's that, guys? Odd numbers, even numbers. What's that?
Numbers.
And don't Google it. No need to Google anything. Because what's the problem? So this is super simple. So odd numbers, examples of odd numbers: 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17. You see? Those are odd numbers. And the even numbers: 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. You see? You see? So in the case of odd
Yes,
numbers
teacher.
are números impares, even numbers are números pares. So this is what we're gonna do. So you guys were organizing groups, right, as usual. So we have 6 different groups. And I don't know if you guys had the chance to see which number you were. So for example, group number 1 was Brian, Carlos Andres, Johanna, Jeritza. That was group number 1. Group number 2 was Ashley, John Gonzalez, Juan Paramo, Linda. That's group number 2. Number 3 was Alejandra Arce, Lina Rodriguez, and Maria Alejandra. That's number 3. Number 4 was Ana Maria Buendia, Felipe Bueno, and Dylan. That's number 4. Number 5 was Ana Maria Ortiz, Clara, and Jose Diaz. And number 6 was Daniela Rodriguez, Estefania Portugues, and Tatiana Spidia. Those were the numbers of the groups. So guys, all the odd numbers will be, let me just put it here so you got it. All on numbers would be 4, okay? That means that you need to take part 4 artificial intelligence or machines. So you have to support the use of that. Do you understand what I mean? You have to go 4. And even numbers will be against. Okay, that's how it works. So for and against, you see? That's how we're gonna do it. So that means, guys, that the groups number 1, 3, and 5 will be 4, and 2, 4, and 6 will be against. Okay, so if you are in a odd number group, you need to select only the arguments which are for intelligent machines. You see? So it means that when we have this discussion, you will support the use of intelligent machines. So you will use only those arguments, okay? And the other group will be against. So we're gonna have like a series of debates. So far, so good, guys. Understand what we have to do?
Yes.
Yes.
And additionally, I'm going to mix the groups. So I'm going to mix the groups 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and 5 and 6. I'm going to mix the groups. So we're gonna have bigger groups now. And remember, some of you have to go for and some of you have to go against. It's not just like talking just randomly, but you need to go against or for. So this is what I'm going to do, guys. I'm gonna give you like 3 extra minutes for you to discuss the arguments that you'll use as a group, and then you're gonna come back here. I will mix you with the other group, and then you're gonna have the debate, okay? So in this moment, I'll give you like 3 minutes, so you go back to your groups and you discuss the arguments. Remember, odd numbers go for, even numbers go against, okay? That's how we're gonna do it. So I'm gonna give you in this moment like 3 minutes to say these are the arguments, remember, according to your number. So you have to, because in this moment you have 2 lists, right? So you have to choose only one according to this that I just said, and that's it. Is it clear, guys, what we gotta do?
Yes, teacher.
I suppose. Okay, so let's go there. 3 minutes, choose the arguments, and then we come back and we have the debate. Is to mix the groups, right? So we have 6 different groups. Just a couple of minutes ago, when you were back in your groups, what you guys were doing was to choose the arguments that you will use in this debate we're gonna have. As I said before, this is how we are going to do it. So the odd numbers, which are groups number 1, 3, and 5, are going to go for the use of intelligent machines, and the even numbers 2, 4, and 6 will be against. That's how you guys are going to do that. So I'm going to mix the group. So group 1 is going to debate against, let's say, group number 2, 3 with 4, and 5 with 6. So in this moment, I will move all the people just to one single group. So I'm gonna, let me just, groups, like groups 1, 2. Okay. So, 2, 2, 2. Okay. So I'm in this very moment, I'm just organizing the groups, guys, I'm sorry. Okay, guys, so I just reorganized the groups. So that's what you have to do. You will have around 10 minutes more or less to make the debate. Remember, odd numbers go for, even numbers go against. Do you have any question before we do this last exercise, guys?
No.
Okay, so now, remember, now the groups are gonna be together. Groups 1 and 2 will be together, 3 and 4 will be together, 5 and 6 will be together, and you guys will start a debate. Okay, so let's do this. I'm gonna take around a little bit less than 10 minutes, and then I'll call you back here to the main session, so we call the attendance, and then we finish. Okay, so let's do this, guys. I will also, of course, be visiting the groups.
Hello.
Hello, guys.
Hello.
Me gusta que eso. A ver.
Okay, well,
Okay.
the fourth group, the people who is agree, they have to start, and we tell the why we are against.
Okay, so one of our arguments is that machines can help us with like manual actions or jobs. For example, the people that work in like buildings, well, in that kind of stuff, that people don't get hurt or don't have injuries because machines do the hard work. So the
Yeah, but
useful
I am
work.
against. I am against because the problem is that people will become lazy. So they will get used to the machine.
A good thing was the technology helps to the medical things, maybe to
It's really bad because the technology makes that people can do more things, you know? Therefore, they become sedentary and gain weight. But it is a really, really bad for humans.
It's not sedentary because, for example, is the machine do the activity. Obviously, you have the opportunity to do another activity. It's not possible because, oh well, it depends of the person. Imagine a lazy person. Obviously, the lazy person buy a machine that obviously do all the things in the house, and the person maybe stay in the bed or watching memes or watching a movie or something like that. But the machines help us to do the activities. And for example, maybe a person we didn't have the time to care children, the machine care children, and it's more easier to do the activities. The machines have the better. The machines are the best. Why do you see? Do you?
Machine doesn't. And also, the machine can optimizing the time working. So it will be very great for the productive in the companies.
Well, I'm disagree because the machine replace the human's job or the job humans, I don't know, and create a employment. So I'm disagree for this reason.
Other thing that I disagree with your opinion is that the machine, yes, don't do mistakes, yes, but the machines are created by the humans, yes, and the humans do everything mistakes, yes. This is the problem with the machines. You say that the machines don't don't do mistakes, but yes, the machines can be fail or do whatever you think. No, whatever. No, sorry. Um,
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
understand your point of view, and I could be say the same because they don't have unemployment because the human can um, give me a second. How is the word? Can fix the machines and can I don't know.
Another good thing could be the development of the children faster. The education is so easy. Anything you want to know is there.
And
Which other?
another good thing is we can have a better communication with the rest of the world, and we can talk with maybe
This is something we can exploit a little bit more. And well, once again, as I had the chance to be in different groups, the use of the camera has a very, very interesting impact on the exercise itself. So as I said, I will never force you to use the cameras because that's something that's your decision, but that makes a difference. That makes a difference. So once again, guys, whenever you can use it, please use it. It makes a huge difference. Imagine if I never use it. It's not like you guys want to see me or something. That's not the point. But the thing is that when I use the camera, you can see my expressions. You can see if I'm feeling, I don't know, lazy, or if I'm full of energy, or if I like what you guys said, or if I don't like it, whatever. So it's like to see the expressions, and that reinforces the message. Also, I even gave you a theory on that, and that was the Mehrabian's rule, if you remember, on the effectiveness of communication. So it's like I don't know if there is another different way, to convince you on the importance of this. Right now, guys, I'm gonna call the attendance, so you guys are free to go. We couldn't check the homework you had for today based on the other book. We're gonna start with that tomorrow, and also tomorrow we're gonna have a very detailed explanation on clauses, phrases, sentences. So tomorrow we're gonna have a little bit more of a traditional lesson in terms that I will be, explaining lots of different things. So hopefully tomorrow, do not forget to bring your coffee or your drink of your preference, and we have to take lots of notes tomorrow. Okay, so I'm gonna call the attendance, and then you guys are free to go. So Brian Aguilera. Brian, yeah, he's here.
Yes,
Nice.
teacher. Yeah.
Ana Maria Buendía.
I'm here, teacher.
Andrés Felipe Bueno.
Here.
Angie Carvajal. Angie Carvajal, no. Jose Diaz. Jose Diaz, he was here. Oh, I think so. Oh, he's not here. Tatiana Spitia. Oh no, he is here.
Teacher.
Okay. Yaritza Garcia.
Here, teacher.
Tania Gomez, not here. Sebastián González, John Sebastián González.
Here, teacher.
Santiago Hernández, no. Ashley Huesa.
Here.
Marcela Jiménez. Linda López.
Here, teacher.
Okay. Johannet Martinez.
Present.
Clara Monroy.
Present, teacher.
Tatiana Obando. Tatiana Obando. Don't worry, Jose. I saw you when you entered back, so I didn't give you any absence. Ana Maria Ortiz.
Present, teacher.
Dylan Paez.
Present, teacher.
Juan Páramo.
Present, teacher.
Estefanía Portugués.
Present, teacher.
Lina Rodríguez.
Present, teacher.
Daniela Rodríguez.
Present, teacher.
Carlos Rojas.
Present, teacher.
María Alejandra Triana.
Present.
And Alejandra Velandia.
Present.
Okay. Okay. So guys, so once again, thank you very much for your time, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you, teacher. Bye.
Thank you.
Teacher, have a nice
Have a good day.
You too.